Hey everybody, welcome back to In Bed with the Millennial. I'm the Millennial Javeda Bay, and this is my bed, and it is Kinktober. If you're new here, it is one of my favorite months of the year. So Kinktober is basically when the month of October becomes all things kink and BDSM. And as a kinkster and as a sex educator, kink educator, this month is like honestly my Super Bowl. And what makes today's episode of In Bed with the Millennial even sweeter is the fact that today is National Kink Day. So happy National Kink Day. Because I love this month and love doing education around this, like obviously our focus this month is kink and BDSM. And since it's Kinktober, today I want to talk about a very particular topic. If and how you can engage in kink and BDSM solo, because you don't have to have a partner to do it. So let's get into it. Wait, Jave, what do you mean you don't have to have a partner to do kink and BDSM? Well, depending on the activities you are actually interested in engaging in, you might be able to do them all by yourself, which is really nice because sometimes you don't really want to like have to like engage with another person. You just want to feel the sensations and the experience all on your lonesome. And there are so many different aspects of kink and BDSM that are wonderful as solo activities. Now, if you are someone that is brand spanking new to kink and BDSM, there's a few things that you should know before you get started. Firstly, you need to understand like the basics in terms of like safety before you engage in anything, be it with a partner or by yourself. So educating yourself on that is step number one. And if you're like, where do I go for that? Hello, my website is a great place. So getting your base education, the basics in terms of the safety principles of kink and BDSM, understanding consent, scene negotiation, all of that you should understand. Even if you plan on practicing kink and BDSM completely by yourself, it's still very important that you understand those foundational basics. So that way you're making sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, even if you're by yourself. And so once you've learned that foundational stuff, then you have to figure out what it is that you like because not everybody enjoys all the same kinks. That's why kink and BDSM is so amazing and beautiful. Like it's always an individualized experience. And if you're new to kink and BDSM, that can be extremely overwhelming because where do you go? How do you figure it out? Also, like kink and BDSM, depending on the activities, can get a little costly to buy the tools and the implements and things of that nature. So figuring out what you like before investing is always a good move. And I have a few recommendations if you are interested in trying to figure out what it is that you like. The first one is going to be the BDSM test. So the BDSM test is a free resource online. You just go to bdsmtest.org and there's two versions. You can do a short version or a long version, but it's basically a survey that you complete to figure out what it is, like where you fall in terms of like your interest of kink and BDSM. And I personally really love this resource because one, it shows you in like percentages. Not that like necessarily matters, but like as someone that likes to see data, it feels really good. But it gives you percentages on where you fall in terms of what you like, and it also gives you the terminology for things. So if you really don't know the language of kink and BDSM, doing the BDSM test is really going to help you figure out, like, oh, I actually am into predator prey play because I answered the questions, and that's like it explained that that's what that was. And it's also a very like easy, straightforward survey in the sense that it's asking you questions like I like it when my partner does blah blah blah. I like to do blah blah blah. So you don't have to like name specific activities to take the quiz. You're just saying what it is you do and do not like. But it's a really great way to see where you fall in terms of like your interests and like what you're more interested in over other things. It's also a really great resource because as with all things sexual, we are continuously changing as sexual beings. And so repeatedly going back and taking this test helps you see like the shifts and change over time. I personally love it. Like I always like screenshot my results so that way I can like look at them like as I continue on. And I'm like, wow, 2 years ago I was like 99% brat. And now we're like less bratty, a little bit more subby, So it's a really great thing to see those changes in your kink and BDSM interest over time. So bdsmtest.org is a great starting place. I also highly recommend doing yes, no, maybe lists. So once you actually have a little bit more understanding of the language and the activities, yes, no, maybe lists are a really great tool for you to very clearly outline like where you are in terms of like, I'm open to this, I'm not going to do that. So it's really great as you start to understand your limits and your hard limits around kink and BDSM activities. And if you're like, Jave, where do I get yes, no, maybe list? A lot of different places. The first one's going to be my website. I created a special solo kinks yes, no, maybe list specifically for y'all. It's completely free to download. Just make your way on over to the millennialsexpert.com. But you just go through and you complete it and you read the activity and you're like, you know what? Yes, I would like to do that. And there's also columns for you to mark if you would like to give or receive on an activity to really like understand how you want to participate in different actions. But yes, no, maybe lists are available in a lot of different places. You could easily Google like kink BDSM yes, no, maybe list, and you'll get a lot of different hits. So lots of options out there. But if you're specifically trying to get started in kink and BDSM without a partner, I highly recommend that you download my solo kinks yes, no, maybe list. And then there's also one that is specifically for Kinktober as well. So you've got lots of options. But yes, no, maybe lists are a really great resource also because you can continuously go back to them and see like, oh, I really like change. That used to be like a no, and now it's a maybe. And in a few years, it might be a yes or complete reverse. You might have started with it being a yes, and then it moved to a maybe, and now it's a no. And that's okay because one, sexuality is fluid. Two, kink and BDSM is an individualized experience, and we outgrow things. That's just a fact of life. So why would that not apply to what we enjoy in terms of kink and BDSM? And another great resource if you are trying to like understand different kinks and see what you might like is of course going to be porn. And I'm not saying this because I'm saying go and recreate what you see in kinky porn. Absolutely not. I'm just saying that some people are more visual learners and actually seeing an activity in action rather than just reading about it gives you a better idea of if you may or may not actually want to participate in it. So delving into that world can also be beneficial if you're just getting started. But those are all really great resources if you're trying to figure out what it is that you like in terms of kink and BDSM activities. Now, on the other side of that, when it comes time to actually engage in them by yourself, where do you start? How do you do it? Uh, there are a few activities that I highly recommend as like great beginner solo kink activities. Obviously, after you've educated yourself, don't just dive on in because you watch this video. Like, you need to understand safety, and I don't have enough time to go into all of that right now. But some great options. Impact play can absolutely be done by yourself, and you have a lot of different ways you could do it. If you've never done any type of impact play, I highly recommend starting out with just your hand. Do not go and run to your nearest sex shop and buy a flogger or a paddle if you have never even tried spanking with just your hand. But depending on where you were trying to impact in the body, you can absolutely do it on yourself. Um, if you're unaware of like where to actually do impact play on the body, keep an eye on my social media this week. I will be dropping a post that explains the different parts of the body. But impact play is really great. Spanking is wonderful. If you're a little bit more experienced with spanking and you do want to use a tool, I highly recommend a dual-sided paddle. So one that is like the actual like impact side, so whatever material it's made out of, but it's just that. And on the other side, it's going to be a little bit fuzzy. This is a really great tool if you're just getting started with impact play because you'll see the soft side and it'll remind you, oh yes, I should like perform some aftercare and soothe this area. So if you are ready for an actual like impact play implement or tool, I highly recommend a dual-sided paddle. But impact play is obviously a really great one. You can also do some solo self bondage. Again, make sure you are practicing safety when doing this, but you have a few different options. So obviously cuffs are a thing, and if you have things like Liberator, like positioning pillows or toy mount pillows, like it works really well to add in some bondage and then still use toys without having to need your hands. But solo bondage is really great. You can do it with things like Velcro restraints. There are like cuffs that are just Velcro, and they like can attach with a like, I don't know, I can't remember what they're called, but like the little lanky thing that connects things. So you'd be able to put on the Velcro restraints easily and then just connect them, and then you're restrained and you can just enjoy yourself. You also have things like quickie cuffs, which are silicone cuffs that have a little bit more stretch to them, so you can easily put your wrist in and out, but they still provide some restraint. And then another great option is going to be bondage tape, which is tape specifically designed for bondage play, but it only sticks to itself. It doesn't stick to like your bedding or anything like that. It is only going to stick to itself. So that one's also a really great option because you don't have to worry about like, you know, it being stuck to like your bedding or your bed frame and not being able to like move. It's only going to stick to itself. It's also reusable. So it's a really great like beginner option for bondage because it's a lot like a roll of it is going to last you a long time and it's reusable. And the last solo kink activity that I encourage for folks that are beginners is going to be sensation play or like sensory play and just like engaging all of the senses. And you can do this in a wide variety of ways. I highly recommend blindfolds and just like putting on a blindfold and like just going about your regular masturbation, just making it a little bit more kinky because now you can't see anything. Or even just exploring different sensations with your toys. So if you're like regularly a vibration person, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna try a new sensation today. You can try out like suction or air pulse toys. There are even like toys out there that like do a thumping or a tapping function. So like there's a lot of different options, but you can actually explore different sensations without having to like really be like, oh, I'm gonna jump off the deep end of this kink and BDSM world. Like you can ease your way into it, which is also a really great thing to do as you are getting started and as you're playing by yourself. But yeah, kink and BDSM generally is portrayed as something that you only do with other people, something you can do completely by yourself. And there are a lot of different ways that you can do it without having to spend a lot of money. So if you are interested and you're like, I want to venture into this world, one, I highly recommend taking the BDSM test. Two, definitely make sure you go to my website and you download the Solo Kinks Yes No Maybe list. And three, see what you have around the house that you can use before you run to the store and go drop some money. Like try things out before you fully drop a paycheck and invest in the materials, okay? But yeah, that's that. Kinktober's a great time. I literally love this month so much, and I love all the content I have planned for this month. So if you don't want to miss out on that, which I promise you, you don't, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel because, hello, free kink education right here, freely available to you. You ain't got to do nothing except for subscribe. Please subscribe. And then definitely make sure you're following me on all the social media platforms because I do share different content on all of them. And I've been sharing a kink a day on TikTok and Instagram. So if you're like, I don't even know what kinks there are, check out my social media platforms because I'm introducing you to a new one every single day, all month long. Um, and definitely make sure you subscribe to my email newsletter because everybody on there finds out everything first. They're always in the know of the good, fun things that are going on. And like, hello, it's just a great place to be. Also, because Kinktober is one of the months where I usually am running it real close to like getting booted off of these platforms. So my email newsletter is a great place to be if you don't want to lose access to any of this information. But yeah, that is that. Um, I am very excited for this month. If you have any questions about all things kink and BDSM, please do not hesitate to share them with me. You can send them to me via email, slide into my DMs, whatever works for you. But definitely share your questions so I can answer them. And yeah, that's that. I'm gonna see you later. Deuces.